Trust News Center. This is the News Hour.
A News Hour tonight. 6 killed as suicide bombers detonate IED in Borno. Huge harvest losses for farmers in Katsina over disease outbreak. Open grazing continues to polarize stakeholders amid new legislation on ranching. On the foreign scene, Mauritanians vote as President Ghazouani seeks re-election. Hello and welcome to Trust TV's News Hour. I am Chiamaka Mwafo. Now the news. 2 suicide bombers have detonated an improvised explosive device IED at a wedding venue in Goza town, Borno State, killing 6 wedding guests and injuring many others. According to a survivor, the first bomber was carrying a baby on her back when she stormed the venue and detonated the IED. The bomber, identified as a young mother in her 20s, pretended to be a guest at the wedding, which was held on Saturday at Tashan Mararaba near the fire service in Goza town. While trying to bury the dead persons, another bomber disguised as a mourner detonated an IED at the burial ground, killing 1 person. The injured are receiving treatment at the General Hospital in Goza. The military has, as a result of the explosions, declared a curfew in the community with immediate effect. Security agencies are also yet to comment on the incident as of this moment. Now, the Daily Trust reporter in the state, Olatunji Omiri, is joining us via phone call to give us an update. Good evening, Omiri.
Good evening.
Thank you for joining us tonight on the News Hour. So, what more have we been able to learn about this attack?
Okay, the attack is in the last couple of years we have not there of suicide attack. But today's one is a bit strange. According to what I have gathered tonight, there were 3 suicide attacks on Goza community today. 3. The first one happened at Mararaba, where a suicide bomber attacked wedding guests at a reception, killing 8 people. The second one took place when the mourner was taking the corpse to burial ground, and they were attacked, and several other people were killed, including a soldier and 2 civilian JTF. While the third one happened at the Aushari area, the detail is not available. But as we speak, more than 20 people have been confirmed dead, and dozens of people are seriously injured. Some of the people that they are injured have been brought to Maiduguri for special treatment as we speak tonight. So these are the details I have for now.
Okay, when we read the story earlier, we said the security operatives haven't said anything yet. So far, have they come out to give any information or report on the matter?
Yes, the security has not yet come out to giving any details, but locals and the eyewitness have spoken to 2 of the angles that room made. I've spoken to them, and they have confirmed to me that they lost 8 people instantly. And also, I've spoken to one of the community leaders that actually confirmed the incident. And a security source also spoke to me and told me that due to the attacks, so the military actually fear that there will be some suicide bomber around the Goza, so they have to announce curfew in order to sanitize the whole general area. So these are the things that we have. But as we speak.
All right. Okay. So Olatunji, I'm going to merge 2 questions in one for you. One, what has the security response been in Maiduguri, Borno State capital, since this attack, and what is the mood in the capital city after this heinous attack?
Yes, Maiduguri is calm. Maiduguri is calm. Everybody is going their normal. They are doing their normal things, and there's no any any panicking around there. Everywhere is calm. Maiduguri is calm, and the state capital is fine. But the security, normally security agents always in the night go about for checking and order to ensure that there is law and order in the state capital.
All right.
The state capital is calm.
All right. Thank you so much, Olatunji Omeri, for joining us tonight on the News Hour, giving us an update on the situation in Borno State. Please stay safe.
Thank you. Thank you.
Moving to more stories, over in Kaduna, operatives of the 1 Division Nigerian Army Kaduna have arrested 47 suspected rail track vandals in the state. The division's acting deputy director, Army Public Relations Officer, Lieutenant Colonel Musa Yahaya, who disclosed on Saturday in Kaduna, said the arrest was made by the troops while on routine patrol along a road. He said the suspects had loaded 2 trucks with the vandalized rail tracks before their arrest. Yahaya stated that the suspects revealed that they were employed by one Alhaji Babu, who is at large, to load the vandalized rail tracks and offload same at a nearby bush along the road. He disclosed that the suspects were profiled at the 312 Artillery Regiment Kaduna. The acting commander, 1 Division Provost Group, Lieutenant Colonel I.Y. Rena, was quoted as stating that the suspects were profiled to ascertain their level of involvement during preliminary investigation. Suspects were handed over to the authorities of the Nigerian Railway Corporation, Kaduna Station, represented by the Divisional Crime Officer. Over in Katsina State, farmers have raised alarm over what they described as widespread infestation of strange insects and worms in their farms. Checks by Trust TV in some farms reveal that the tiny strange insects and worms are significantly destroying crops in areas where there is shortage of rainfall. Abdullah Yamadi tells us more.
Farmers in local government areas of northern Katsina such as Keita, Jibia, Batsari, Maiadua, Mashi, Bindawa, Charanchi, Rimi, Katsina and Batagarawa are among those experiencing partial shortage of rainfall running into its 3rd week. Majority of crops here, which are almost 3 weeks old, are drying up gradually and attracting worms and other insects that thrive with shortage of rain. Farmers here who are afraid of the unknown are praying for rainfall and support from the government to assist with insecticides to enable them get rid of the pest. My name is Muhammad Lawal Adamu Shankafi, Katsina Local Government. The worms are destroying crops such as maize, millet and corn. We are appealing to the state government to intervene in the area of spraying pesticides on the affected areas to reduce the impact of the worms. Government support will complement our efforts of getting rid of the strange insects. I am Yahya Abdullahi. The insects and worms are very destructive. They have destroyed some of our farms completely at a time when farmers are facing serious difficulties. Our plan is to either transplant or make plant all over again when the rains return. Kindly inform authorities concerned about our constraints. Residents say if the drought persists, thousands of farmers across the affected local government areas risk losing their crops, a situation that may further aggravate food insecurity not only in Katsina State but Nigeria as a whole. Though the insects and worms were noticed by farmers some few weeks ago, the Katsina State government, through the Permanent Secretary, Ministry of Agriculture and Natural Resources, Muhammad, assured that extension workers have since been dispatched to spray pesticides on the affected farms to prevent an escalation. Now, more than ever before, experts and other public commentators are saying the situation requires a holistic approach by the government and other stakeholders before it gets out of control. Abdullahi Ismayamadi, Trust Television News. Katsina.
Over in Plateau State, farmers and herders have expressed different views on the proposed anti-grazing bill currently being debated in the National Assembly. The bill was introduced following a motion by Senator Titus Zam representing Benue Northwest. In his lead debate, Senator Zam argued that the recurring clashes between farmers and herders could be effectively addressed through legislative measures that ban open grazing. Adam Musa has more.
Open grazing has become a hot topic in Nigeria for years, polarizing Nigerians along ethno-religious lines. This is not the first time the Nigerian government has considered banning or regulating open grazing. The proposed bill has faced significant opposition from some Nigerians, particularly herders who argue that it will disadvantage them. According to the media reports, part of the bill suggests establishing ranches in states with pastoralist communities, while not imposing this requirement on states without such communities. Farmers and herders in Plateau State are divided on the proposed bill.
As a farmer, my view on the open grazing, ban to open grazing will really help farmers, because farmers do clash with herdsmen during farming season, because the open grazing give room to herders to go around everywhere with their cattle rearing it, but a ban to open grazing, that means their cattle will be kept in a particular area, so it will give farmers space to farm their crops very well.
I don't support the open grazing. The reason is because, okay, here is a farm. If the cattle should be come here and then eat up everything, it will not be, I will not be happy. Yes, so I rather advise they should like keep it in one place, cover it, and then they should be feeding them.
Why do herders reject the ban on open grazing? The state chairman of Gang Allah Fulani Development Association, Garba Abdullahi, has this to say.
The Fulani on the plateau more especially, we are not in support of the bill that the National Assembly is working on, that the bill of anti-open grazing law in Nigeria, because it is going to be counterproductive. How is the government ready? Did they provide any enabling environment for the Fulanis to key into this ranching they are talking about? The species of cows that the Fulani have today cannot support that load they are putting on of ranching instead of open grazing, and it is going to kill their cows because they are not used to it. So it means, and it is also capital intensive. How is the government ready to support this program?
Salisu Muhammad, a conflict resolution expert, explains how the proposed law could be a solution to the harder farmer crisis in Nigeria.
First and foremost, it has to be two ways. There is no one way as a solution. Number one of the two ways, if the bill is going to contain provision for ranches, that's one way. The second way, if the bill is only for banning of open grazing, it will fail, because the ban of open grazing is putting the horse before the cat. I mean, it's putting the cat before the horse. The horse is supposed to be before the cat. If you ask somebody, don't go out, you have to provide for the person a place to stay. So we're not saying they should provide for herders, because it's personal enterprise, it's personal estate. We're not saying they should provide for them everything they need. No. These are animals, these are lives we're talking about here. They should provide for them an alternative.
Lawmakers have proposed a national summit on the matter, along with a public hearing to seek a comprehensive solution. Both farmers and herders are eagerly awaiting the outcome to see if the bill will be passed into law.
Adam Musa, Trust TV News, Jos.
Still staying with agricultural stories over in Benue State, Nigeria was doing well through the agricultural economy before the oil boom of the 1970s. Now, residents of the Benue State capital, Makurdi, are saying the reliance on crude oil revenue cannot sustain the economy. Jimmy Azande tells us more.
Makurdi residents say the overdependence on the crude oil has for long left Nigeria's economy at the mercy of global energy market, which determine prices of crude oil.
The effect of our dependence on petroleum is what Nigeria is going through right now, because Nigeria has gotten enough hectares of land that are untapped. It started from when we discovered oil. So that's where the problem of Nigeria is. If you go to the farm, and I go to the farm, in the middle belt, mostly we farm root crops. In the north, mostly they farm grains. So if all of us decide to go to farm, you have something that I need, I have something you need.
It really causes us a lot of setback when you think of, if you recall back, the rice, what pyramid, groundnut pyramid in those days, that people were into agriculture. But now, because of the hardship, people are being forced to go back into agriculture now. And I think we are returning to the basis.
The era of graduates waiting for white-collar jobs, they say, is over.
The oil came, it watered a lot of things, our funds were embezzled, and refineries put out there to help get extra money from the poor citizens. But now, I want to beg the government, since subsidy came in and everything became on the high, it then means that the oil we're depending on was not even doing us any good. Since we have realized our problem and have faced the suffering by this subsidy removal, I would want the government to do everything possible to re-energize the agricultural sector.
For this high level of unemployment in the country to be reduced, youth must actively engage themselves into agriculture. Agriculture alone has the capacity of taking youth off streets, at least if not 75%. I want to believe that agriculture alone will be able to employ youth effectively, be it in terms of crops, be it in terms of rearing of animals and all of that.
There has been improvement in the number of youths going to the farm recently in Benue State. Residents are saying, with a sincere government intervention, the narrative can change for the growth of the economy. Jimmy Azandi, Trust TV News, Makurdi.
Back here in the FCT, 2 persons have been rescued from a collapsed building at the Prince and Princess Estate in the Gudu district of the Federal Capital Territory, Abuja. This was disclosed in a statement by the head of Public Affairs FCT Emergency Management Department, FEMD, in Kichisa on Saturday. She noted that the Acting Director General of FEMD, Flores Wenegeme, confirmed that all the workers evacuated the building as soon as they saw signs that the building was going to collapse. However, 2 persons in the detached bungalow behind the building became trapped by the rubble from the collapsed building. The trapped occupants were rescued by FEMD search and rescue team, who cut through the window protectors. Meanwhile, Wenegeme is appealing to developers and individuals to observe building codes at all times. She also urged developers to always carry out integrity tests on existing buildings before carrying out renovations. To cost of living stories. As the present hardship in the country continues, some residents and small-scale business operators in Jalingo, the Taraba State capital, describe the situation as unbelievable. They called for government intervention to fix the problem for the well-being of the citizens. Here's more of the report.
Due to the prevailing economic hardship in the country, some satellite markets in Jalingo are experiencing low patronages. Some residents attribute the situation to the low purchasing power created by the ongoing economic reforms.
Yau muna kauye da yaro zai kawo kifi. Kifin nan.
Before, if we bought 1,000 naira fish and take to the market, we sell it cheap. But now, if you price the small container of a fish, they will say it is 50,000 naira. And if you ask for the reduction, they say foodstuff in the market is also too expensive and they must eat before going to the river for fishing.
Gaskiya abubuwan da muke samu yana da wahala yanzu.
To be frank, things are getting more harder. We now buy rice at 3,200 naira per measure. Maize is 1,700 naira, while it was 700 naira for rice and maize was 250. Groundnut oil that we used to buy at the rate of 350 is now 1,500 naira per bottle. Government should look into the situation. Lara Joseph, a fish seller, and others like her said they are compelled to sell at loss sometimes due to low patronage. Jesse Godwin, a shoe manufacturer, described the situation as unfavorable, adding that people are no more patronizing his business like before. While Ibrahim Musa, a barber, said the people now prefer to comb their hair instead of barbing it.
Life now, we don't know where we are going to, because to even eat now is very hard. Prices of food has gone high, and a layman can no longer afford it. Even the business we are doing now, we are just managing it so that we don't stay idle.
It's a very challenging situation now, because everybody is feeling the hardship. You can see now the cost of the commodity is escalating every day. It's high. We are finding it very difficult now. As you can see, we are just doing it to get what we can eat.
The government needs to empower youth and give job opportunity and help the farmers. They need it. They should provide farm products, like all this fertilizer, free gift like that to the farmers.
Let the government have a price control and look into this situation. Because these things you go to this shop, you have it at maybe 200. The next shop is 300. The third one will be 400-500. There's no price control. They should do something about it. Let's have price control.
Imam Muhammad Bashir Bunu attributed the problem to fuel subsidy removal and the devaluation of the local currency.
The challenges people are facing now in this country is based on the economic policy embarked by the government. More especially, the fuel subsidy removal and the devaluation of the naira. These two harsh conditions, they cannot go together and make a success. All that you want to achieve, if you duplicate it in this format, it creates more problem than solving the problem.
Both the residents and the business operators appealed for government intervention to ameliorate the sufferings of the citizens.
As many Nigerians struggle to sustain their means of livelihood, a 31-year-old Gombe mechanic is optimistic that sooner or later, the current hardship will give way to a season of ease and business boom. Despite the low patronage this rainy season, Bashir Dan Kwangila is always at his garage where he's grooming 2 apprentices. Here's more of the story.
Specialized in Vespa repair, Bashir comes in his garage early in the morning and closes after sunset. With his apprentices, they have been repairing motorcycles for customers for more than a decade. I have been repairing Vespas for the past 10 years, and to be honest, it pays my bills and it will continue to pay. However, recently we have observed a significant fall in patronage, as most of our customers are not requiring our services as they did before. It is obvious that people are more concerned about how to feed themselves. So some of our customers have parked their vehicles, and that is not a good thing for us. Despite facing challenges, Bashir is optimistic that things will get better in the near future. He is encouraging his apprentices to focus on acquiring the needed skills. We are having challenges ranges from low patronage to shortage of some spare parts here in Gombe. However, I never give up, as I always encourage my apprentices to do everything possible to acquire the skills that will be beneficial to them in the future, especially now that one cannot rely on government to provide him with a skill or job. Although many youths are struggling to sustain their lives in the streets of Gombe due to economic downturn, Many are, however, hopeful that things will turn around sooner than later. From Gombe, Hassan Koli, Trust TV News.
Away from cost of living to governance, the Labour Party presidential candidate in the 2023 elections, Peter Obi, has faulted what he described as concurrent implementation of 4 national budgets by the Nigerian government, saying it is a recipe for chaos, confusion and catastrophe. In a post on his X handle on Saturday, Obi said it is a blatant disregard for fiscal responsibility, transparency and accountability. The former Anambra State governor also stated that the action by the government will lead to frivolous items in the approved budgets competing with essential projects for limited resources, further exacerbating the suffering of the Nigerian people. This is the news hour on Trust TV. Up ahead. Food vendor loses millions due to a failed verbal contract in Bauchi. This story and more when we return. Please do stay with us. Welcome back. Thanks for staying with us. And just joining us is the news hour on Trust TV. A recap of our top stories. 6 killed as suicide bombers detonate IED in Borno. We also told you that huge harvest losses for farmers in Katsina over disease outbreak. Two more stories. Operatives of the anti-kidnapping attached to the Imo Police Command has arrested additional suspects in connection to the gruesome murder of a divisional police officer in Mbise a few months ago. According to the Police Public Relations Officer, ASP Henry Okoye, the confessions of suspects arrested earlier led to the arrest of 7 others. Trust TV's Ajibade Paris has more.
The suspects being paraded were arrested at different locations in the state. Some of them were responsible for the countless attacks on security agencies in the state, including the killing of the DPO.
Today, I have before you a total of 20 suspects, largely males, arrested for various criminal offenses ranging from terrorism activities, kidnapping, and murder. And in the course of investigating the aforesaid cases, we have recovered 7 pump action guns and other locally made guns too.
The suspect, who gave his name as Oluomachi Iheanacho, a 28-year-old native of Abombise, confessed to be a member of the outlawed group. He said he was forced into joining them when they threatened his life. For this ex-convict, repenting from crime is difficult for him because he came from a very poor background.
I know those people because they are my village. They are parading in my village. I'm a member, but it's IPOB, but it's they enforce me with a gun. They enforce me to join me.
When did you leave the camp?
I've been doing it. I do it 2012. Get problem and go to prison. Came back. Still continue doing it. I do it on January 2021. Still do it second one March 2021. But because of combat condition, yes, I came from poor family.
Okoye said the Commissioner of Police, CP Aboki Danjuma, is urging members of the public to assist the police with useful information that could aid crime fight in the state. Ajibade Praise, Trust TV News, Owerri.
Backup note. Operatives of the Antikidnap 99 persons have been arrested across the 13 local government areas of Nasarawa State over alleged violations of the State Environmental Sanitation Law. Chief Prosecuting Officer of the State Environmental Sanitation Law, Abubakar Mohammed, stated this shortly after the conclusion of the monthly sanitation exercise in Lafia. Trust TV's Abubakar Abdullahi sent in this report is presented from our studio.
Addressing journalists shortly after the state monthly sanitation exercise, the state chief prosecuting officer Abubakar Mohammed said The suspects were arrested while driving vehicles and transacting other businesses during the hours set aside for the exercise. He gave an analysis of the number of arrests effected in the different local government areas of the state.
In Lafia alone, we arrested 28 people. And you can see them there before the Honorable Court here for further prosecution, 20. And in Doma, is still 15. I heard of the Akwanga, the Honorable Commissioner of Ministry of Environment and Natural Resources, Dr. Kwanta Yakub, is there in charge of food. And I heard that they arrested not less than 30 people.
He said all the violators were charged before mobile courts and sanctions meted on them according to their offenses. Meanwhile, the Nasarawa state government has expressed satisfaction with the level of compliance by members of the public during the June sanitation exercise. The Commissioner for Environment and Natural Resources, Yakubu Kwanta, gave the commendation while addressing newsmen after the June exercise on Saturday in Lafia. Represented by a senior special assistant to Governor Abdullahi Sule, Beauty Ebu, the commissioner described the level of compliance as impressive and attributed it to support from security agencies, traditional rulers, the media, as well as the inspection team from the ministry.
About 17 went out in different locations today, and then the report we got from them was awesome, was very good. And the outing turn up today is very good. And also about 80% achievement of environmental sanitation today, we got it. So we thank God for today.
He also commended residents, especially shop owners, for clearing drains around their environments, as well as motorists for keeping up the rot during the exercise. Kwanta explained that the exercise had been strengthened to achieve the essence of its reintroduction by Governor Abdullahi Sule in 2019.
Normalcy has returned to the Jain area of the Kano metropolis after disagreement that arose from a football viewing center disrupted the peace in the area. The violent clash between rival thugs led to the killing of a vigilante leader in the area. Here's more.
Eyewitnesses described the situation as chaotic and terrifying, with groups of thugs roaming the streets, armed with weapons and attacking anyone in their path. The attacks are believed to be related to a football argument that started a fight and led to someone being injured, causing them to retaliate, while 2 people were killed in the process, causing a crossfire between the 2 parties.
Honestly, last week we had a problem between Pagri, which is led to demise of 2 persons. But as at now, we are living in peaceful conditions. There is no issue. The causes of the problem, initially it was started from the viewing center of football club. And that is the main positive agent that we realize that these are issues that led to the crisis. And we have tried to run the issue of viewing center and other related issues.
Police authorities have been deployed to the area to restore order, assuring citizens that they will continue to monitor the situation to ensure the safety of all. Mariam Haliru, Trust TV News, Kano.
Still in Kano, a truck loaded with cows from Wudil local government area of the state and heading to Enugu has somersaulted at the Maduguri Road flyover in Kano. One of the passengers on board the truck, Hashim Rebu Tambarua, told Trust TV that brake failure may be the cause of the accident. Policemen and officials of the Federal Road Safety Corps and men of the State Fire Service rushed to the scene to assist those who sustained injuries. Some of the victims were taken to the Sar Sanusi Hospital at Yankaba. No death has been recorded from the accident so far. The truck was loaded with 28 cows, sheep, onions, and dates. Bauchi-based food vendor Aisha Ibrahim is now regretting entering into an oral contract to prepare food worth 7.5 million naira for staff of non-governmental organization after the client failed to show up to claim the food. Speaking with Trust TV, Aisha, who said the food was to feed 9,000 people in 3 days, added that she had no option but to go on social media to seek help. Adamu Imam files on this report.
Aisha had in the morning of Wednesday 26 June 2024 taken to social media crying for help over her imminent loss as the client failed to come claim the over 7 million naira worth of food. She narrates that having signed no contractual agreement, there was no way she could recover her money.
My husband intimated me to ask him to provide me with the contract agreement. So I called him again to ask for the contract agreement, which he says I should just go on with the preparation. He will make it ready the next morning, inshallah. So I went ahead. The next day, when we were done preparing the food, so I called him to provide me with contact persons that will deliver the food to various local government, and he was not responding, he was not answering my calls.
As aftermath of the video, Aisha said well-meaning Nigerians came to her aid, including the state governor Bala Mohammed, who settled what she incurred, and other miscellaneous totaling about 7,516,000 for the unclaimed food through the State Ministry of Humanitarian Affairs.
Senator Bala Mohammed Bauchi has come to my aid. He has paid all the expenses incurred at the cost of this transaction, including extra money. So I'm really happy, I'm really glad he came to my aid.
Contract agreement is very important. When you are going for any contract, you have to make sure that the person has given you the contract paper and you duly sign it before you embark on anything that has to do with such nature. And if I may advise again, the money should be around maybe half to third of that sum of the contract.
A legal practitioner in the state, while reacting to the issue, warned against entering into undocumented contracts.
Agree on a thing, it should be documented. It is not because you do not trust yourself. It's simply because the brain can fail you, the mind can fail you tomorrow. So it is even advisable that an agreement between a father and a son should be documented, not because you did not trust each other, but because the mind or the brain can fail you tomorrow.
According to Aisha, the suspected client during interrogation at the Department of State Security Service in the state denied his action, citing communication gap as the main reason. Adam Imam, Trust TV News, Bauchi.
There you have it. Do well to make sure that all business dealings are written and legally binding. Now to health matters. Healthcare delivery services in Jigawa is undergoing a revolution as the state government has introduced a free health insurance scheme for vulnerable groups. The Danmodi Care Program, a free health insurance initiative, has brought hope and relief to thousands of vulnerable individuals in Jigawa State who will now access a diverse range of services at no cost. Here's the report.
Since its launch, the Danmodi Care Program has enrolled over 143,500 beneficiaries, including pregnant women, elderly individuals, people with disabilities, under 5 children, sickle cell patients, HIV patients, as well as those living with chronic illnesses. Some residents of Hadejia gave their take on the program.
It will impact the life of the citizens of Jigawa State because
if you consider that there is vulnerability in Jigawa State and they need an assistance. So if Jigawa State have an assistance to that vulnerability, of course that it will impact the life of them.
It has a very, very, very much impact, not only in the long run, even in the short run, because a lot of people, vulnerable people, such as disabled people, in people who's chronically ill, people with small, that is very limited earning income, they are enjoying, they are getting the impact of this program of Modikia.
Other beneficiaries of the program also shared their experiences about the scheme.
I come for antenatal. I am very grateful to Governor Dan Modi for the free healthcare service. Before we suffered a lot with hospital fees, but now it is free. Thank you and God bless you. I am overjoyed with this program. Previously, accessing healthcare was a struggle, but now that we are registered, everything will be easier.
Mera Usman, an elderly woman estimated to be over 100 years, was unable to express her gratitude in words, but her happiness was palpable.
May Allah protect the state government for this initiative. Thank you very much. May Allah reward them abundantly.
I used to struggle to fetch firewood and sell it to afford medical checkups. I thank the state government for considering vulnerable people like us. Before this program, I received free health services at the PHC, and I am grateful for the continued support. A member of the state government delegation at Gusau Ward PHC, Yusuf Madia, explained how the enrollment process works.
I am delegating state government for these activities for enrollment of vulnerable, orphan, under 5, women with pregnancy, HIV, etc.
This health facility, we are registering 500 of them. They will be provided with social insurance that will cover their health services for 1 year, which is subject to renewal.
Trust TV observed during a tour to various local governments that the program yielded positive results as the most vulnerable group were registered. It observed that each ward registered 500 vulnerable people in the 287 wards in the state, with a total of 243,500 beneficiaries being captured.
The House of Representatives Committee on Health has promised to address the challenges facing the Federal Medical Center, Birnin Kudu, FMC, and Rashid Shekoni Teaching Hospital, Dutse. The committee made the promise during its oversight visit to federal government hospitals in Jigawa and other states. Committee Chairman Amos Gwamina commended the hospital's leadership for maintaining quality health services despite numerous challenges. The Chief Medical Director of the FMC, Birnin Kudu, Dr. Abdullahi Atawami, presented the hospital's expansion plans, which include a new site spanning over 100 hectares. The CMD of RSTH, Dutse Muhammad, who listed the hospital's challenges, including inadequate resources, limited capacity, and political interference, appealed for improved resources and support for enhanced healthcare services.
One of the reasons why we are here is partly to address some of the problems. There are many reasons why people are looking for greener pasture, as they call it. Some of them is not necessarily because of the remuneration. Some of them is the work environment. There are many hospitals that are like a radiographer, radiologist, and maybe a surgeon working in the hospital without the necessary tools that will help him to do his work very well. So we're here to look at the gaps, especially on infrastructure, and then of course looking at the gaps manpower. There are still many Nigerians, health workers that are still looking for employment. And that's why we're here.
During the handover ceremony at the ministry, a list of about 943 members of staff in the nominal role is handed over so that they can be absorbed into the federal civil service. But up to now, as I'm speaking to you, that absorption has not been effective. And so, the members of staff cannot draw their salary from the federal government.
Since I came on board over the last 2 years, we haven't received any member of the National Assembly coming to visit us on oversight function. And today we have the whole Committee of Health, actually from the National Assembly coming to visit, and they visited us. They have seen what we've been doing. They have listened to us. They have heard our problems. We told them our problems, and they have promised actually to bring proper solutions.
You're watching News Hour on Trust TV. Business, foreign sports. When we return, please do stay with us.
Attention loyal readers, exciting news coming your way. That's right. Starting from the first weekend in July 2024, we're bringing you something special. We're saying goodbye to Daily Trust on Sunday and hello to the all-new Weekend Trust. Every Saturday, beginning July 6, 2024, get ready for a richer, redesigned weekend reading experience. Weekend Trust will be your perfect weekend companion, packed with all the news, views, and analysis you love. Missing the Sunday edition? No worries. Weekend Trust will fill the gap and more. And don't forget, you can stay up to date with breaking news on our website at www.dailytrust.com. Mark your calendars for Saturday, July 6, 2024. Weekend Trust is coming out soon and you won't want to miss out.
Welcome back. Thanks for staying with us. It's still News Hour on Trust TV. Let's get to business, where naira has emerged as the worst performing currency in the world in the first half of 2024. According to a report by Bloomberg on Friday, devaluation, insufficient dollar liquidity, and market volatility have hindered efforts by the Central Bank of Nigeria to strengthen the currency. Besides the naira, Egyptian pound and Ghana's cedi were the world's other worst performers in the first 6 months of the year. Tracking data from FMDQ, Bloomberg said that the naira weakened for a 9th straight day to 1,510 naira per dollar on Thursday. Still staying in business, the total transactions on the Nigerian Exchange Limited (NGX) hit 2.35 trillion naira at the end of May, indicating a 115.40% increase compared to the first 5 months of 2023. This was disclosed in the domestic and foreign portfolio participation in equity trading report released by the Nigerian Exchange Limited on Thursday. According to the report, domestic investors maintained their dominance in the market with 79.63% in the 5 months compared to 20.37% for foreign investors. A further breakdown showed that domestic institutional investors had the upper hand at 906 billion naira compared to 885.19 billion naira for domestic retail investors. PwC had in its Nigeria Economic Outlook titled Navigating Economic Reforms said the Nigerian Stock Exchange recorded an increase of 85.2% in market capitalization from 30.3 trillion naira in May 2023 to 56.5 trillion naira in May of 2024. On a foreign scene, Mauritanians voted on Saturday in a presidential election that the incumbent, Mohamed Ould Ghazouani, is expected, and widely expected actually, to win. Ghazouani, age 67, a former top soldier, has promised investor-friendly policies to spur a commodities boom in the country of 5 million people, many of whom live in poverty despite its fossil fuel and minerals wealth. If re-elected, Ghazouani has promised a natural gas-fired power plant from the Greater Churchill, a main offshore gas project, which is on track to start production by the end of the year. He also pledged to invest in renewable energy and expand gold, uranium, and iron ore mining. Ghazouani has presided over a period of relative stability since 2019 as Mauritania's Sahel neighbors, including Mali, struggle with Islamist insurgencies that have led to military coups. If no candidate receives more than 50% of the vote, the election would go to a second round. And in sports, Nigeria's Tobi Amuso is in a buoyant mood after a victory at the Court of Arbitration for Sport, CAS. CAS ruled in favor of the 28-year-old in an appeal brought before it by World Athletics and World Anti-Doping Agency. It's all God, Amuso said in an Instagram post alongside the court's announcement. The Ogun State-born athlete was suspended by the Athletics Integrity Unit ARU in 2023 for missing 3 drug tests within 12 months. The verdict was later overturned by the ARU panel. Had the appeal been upheld, Amuson would have missed out on the 2024 Olympic Games and been suspended for 2 years. Rivers Angels have emerged champions of the 2024 Women's President Federation Cup after beating Niger Rattles 1-0 in the final. The Jewels of Rivers won their 9th title on Saturday when the team got the better of Niger Rattles of Abuja in the final match of the cup competition at the Mobolaji Johnson Arena. Blessings Okpe strike from the penalty spot just minutes before the end of the first half after Niger Rattles defender handed the ball was enough for Rivers Angels to win the game. With the result, White Ogbonda has now won his first National Cup title as head coach, having guided unfancied Ibom Angels to runners-up position in 2017 and 2018. Still staying with the Federation Cup, Nasiru Salisu backed the Braces. El Kanemi Warriors defeated Abia Warriors 2-0 in the final of the President Federation Cup. It was El Kanemi Warriors' 3rd title in the history of the competition. Salisu had a penalty saved in the 9th minute before giving the Maiduguri club the lead 2 minutes after the half-hour mark. He doubled the lead 15 minutes from time. Abia Warriors, who are playing in the final of the competition for the first time, were outplayed by the Aliyu Zubairu side. El Kanami will compete in the CAF Confederation Cup next season as part of their reward for winning the competition. Before we go, here is a kicker. Ife Dolapo Usewe is prospecting for black gold. Although Nigeria is one of the world's leading crude oil exporters, oil is not the black gold Usewe is looking for. Sustainability-driven entrepreneur Usewe is the founder of Free Recycle, a waste management company that transforms discarded vehicle tires into safer, usable products at its base in Ibadan, southwest Nigeria. Take a look.
A lot of people have been worried by the amount of waste generated and the impact it's having on our ecosystem, the wildlife, as well as human health. Also, the desire for social impact was one of the motivating factors, not just to make a positive difference in our community, but also to see recycling as a way to reduce waste, conserve resources, and improve overall quality of life. Power is one of the issues that we are currently faced with. The machine that you see behind me is currently running on a diesel generator, which itself is not clean and is not sustainable. So we're currently working to see how we can migrate to a cleaner source of energy. And then you have access to funding. There could be several other people attempting to do what we're doing, but it is capital intensive and requires specialized funding.
That's it for News Hour tonight on Trust Television. For more of our news, programs and documentaries, please do want to follow us on all our social media platforms and on our YouTube live stream. I am Chiamaka Mwafo. Thank you for joining us.